Okay, so what is my next steps that I'm trying to do? Well, like I said before, I really want to cure my MS. So yeah, let's start there because I think that's one of the most important things besides the money. But yeah, if I can cure my MS, that would be the ultimate goal. But I know that once you have MS, you always have MS. You can't cure it. It doesn't go away. But the symptoms, you can get the symptoms to get better. So that is what I'm going to be working on. And I'm going to take you to my journeys on how I'm doing this or what I'm finding out. Let me just start with where I kind of started from. I started the drugs, and like I said, they didn't seem to really work. It seemed like I was paying for saline. And like I said, I think I was like 5 years too soon for these drugs to kind of have more of an effect. So I read also that a person went to a chiropractor, and when they fixed their necks, because of their C1 and C2, I think that is, they had like a kink in it. And when they fixed that, the blood started being able to rush in, or the nerves started connecting better, and they were able to walk afterwards. And I was like, well, let's do this. So I went to a chiropractor, took the x-rays because they need to figure out. They're like, yeah, it's a little off. I was like, yay, maybe this is it. Went to them for a year, and no, it didn't work. Nothing got better. I mean, my back got more flexible-ish feeling, but nah. So then I stopped that. Then I read another article about bee sting therapy. And so I started looking into that, and it works really well for people with Lyme disease. Now, Lyme disease and MS have a lot of similarities, so I thought, And I actually thought for a minute, maybe I have Lyme disease, because I did get bit when I was like 3 or 4 probably, with a tick. I do remember that. It was on my ear because my mom was like, and my dad had to take it off. So I was hoping for that, but no. So I read bee sting therapy is what can be used and helps people. And I saw that it could help for people with MS. Also, there's been a couple people out there that have MS, and they did the bee sting therapy. So in Southern California, I found one person that did it, and I was excited because he's an hour away, which is far, but then he would go every Saturdays to a place that was only 20 minutes away, and I was like, sweet. So the first thing that they do is they sting you with a bee to make sure you're not allergic, because that wouldn't work if you are. So you actually start with 3 bee stings to start with. Now the main goal, what he had told me, that with the person that he had the MS, they got up to 60 bee stings a week, and then she was basically able to walk at that point afterwards. And so I was like, perfect. But you can't just go, bam, you taking 6 bee stings. That's too much. So now I'm with the 3 bee stings, and every week it increases by 2. So I got up to about 24 the first time, and the guy went on vacation, but then I also couldn't meet up with him the week after. And when you start doing bee sting therapy, you cannot miss more than 2 weeks. And at this point, it was more than 2 weeks, and you got to start all over again if you do. So that was 6 months about to get to that point. So now I'm starting over again. Okay. So once again, I got up to about 28 bee stings, and the guy that I was going to was no longer going to come to the place that was 20 minutes away. I needed to start going to his house, which was an hour. Now, this whole time, 20 minutes, it's already 40 minutes. And then he was pretty quick because he was used to bees. Because you got to pull them, you got to get the bees on tweezers, literally, so then you can get the butt to sting you.
Awesome. felt that one or
I
no?
felt that
Yeah.
one. No, it's the one on my head.
Oh yeah, that
That
one.
hurts.
I know that one is. All right. And this is the way to do it to avoid anything, you know.
Wow.
Anything. See, that's it. Oops. Right there.
Quick, yay!
Yep.
Oh, thank you.
So he was pretty quick, but it was still taking like an hour and a half. And I was like, there's no way I'm going to drive an hour there and an hour back. And that's it. There's no traffic because in LA, it's starting to get traffic even on Saturday mornings. And I was like, wow, that's going to take 5 hours. And once again, I cannot drive myself. So now I have to have somebody take me. And that's a lot to ask from somebody to take 5 hours of their Saturday mornings, their weekend, to help me out. And I didn't even want to do the whole drive in itself. And so I was like, okay, what am I going to do now? Well, I found a place that actually mails you bees. They literally put these bees in these little tiny crate things that they make, and they mail you bees. And honestly, it was $1 per bee is what it basically comes out to. So I was like, this is awesome. Now, once again, this is not going to be FDA approved or even have any kind of like evidence out there or whatever experiments, because the pharmaceutical companies are going to lose out on a lot of money if this would work. Because if this were to work, you need 60 bees, $60 a week. Yeah, it's a lot cheaper, than $100,000 infusion. So I started doing that, but now the problem is I need somebody to give me the bee stings, and my daughter didn't want to do it. And my caregiver didn't want to do it, and I can't ask her to do it. I mean, that's not part of her job description. But my daughter's boyfriend said he would do it, and I was like, great. So we started. But he's not as quick as the guy that's been around bees forever. It takes him a minute to get the bees out, and then the poor thing, he would get stung. And I was like, this isn't good. So we got up to about 12, I would say. And he would do maybe 10 bees an hour. So I'm thinking, oh, fuck. I want 60. I'm going to need 6 hours of this poor boy's time. I can't even get an hour because, he's 21. He's not my boyfriend, he's my daughter's. And I was just like, we're good. I really appreciate that you tried, but I am not going to try this again until maybe I have a boyfriend or somebody that I find that's close by that can do bees. The guy said that he would come to my place if I can get other people to do the bee sting therapy, because it does work for different, like I said, diseases. And I needed at least 5 other people, and that was kind of hard to get and have them all come at the same time. So the bee sting therapy went away. One thing I do have to say about the bee sting therapy that I forgot is if you are going to go this route, use ice. Ice will be your best friend. It is awesome because when you put ice on your skin, a normal person, it starts to burn, it starts to hurt, and that's when you take it off, and that's when you sting yourself, and the bee sting doesn't hurt so much. Like, hardly, like, you can feel it. Sometimes it doesn't, you can't feel it. And the other times you're just like, oh, it's like a little pinch, but nothing that's not too bad. And the longer you keep the ice on your skin, because it burns, like I said, but the longer you keep it on, the less pain it is when you do the bee stings. So if you're ever going to go this route, do it with ice. And once again, not a doctor. I'm not prescribing this to anybody or saying to do it. I'm just saying this is what I did. And this is what helped me. So if you're ever going to do this route, there is also a place that does it in Colorado, but they are pretty booked up because a lot of people go there. And you have to pay, and I didn't know how much. I didn't really look into that much more than what I had done. So now I'm back to, okay, now what? You know, like, what is there any other magic out there that might work for me? And I started, you know, like looking into more and realizing, you know, the traumas from childhood, the way you eat, because I was an 80s kid. I ate a lot of microwave food, a lot of canned food. Oh, and I loved my fast food. And those are like definitely no bueno. And they started saying that a leaky gut contributes a lot to diseases. So then I was like, okay. So I finally just made an appointment for a gastrologist to see if I have leaky gut or if they can recommend anything about it. Because once again, not all doctors, I mean, I would assume that a gastrologist would know, but I don't even know. Because the soonest appointment that I could get was in 4 months. However, if I did see the nurse practitioner, it would be in 2 months. So I decided to go that route because I figured if they're going to order a leaky gut, they can always talk to the doctor right then and order it. Now, the other problem with that is that what I read is that when you do a leaky gut test, you have to pee in like a bucket for like, well, yeah, in a bucket because they want to collect your sample for like 24 hours. And then I was just like, oh, here we go. Now I'm going to have to use a catheter for that. But I'm getting ahead of myself. We're not going to go there. That is one of my next steps. I also started reading that you might want to go more of a holistic doctor, more of a life coach that might be able to help guide you on the next steps. And so I figured I have basically a life coach that I've been working with since 2013. And I asked him if he helped. He said, yeah. So I will get more into him later because he's fantastic. So as of right now, I have a gastrologist appointment to see if I have leaky gut, and we'll go from there. Okay, bye.